Welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is where we have motivational, inspiring conversations and interviews that we hope you'll enjoy listening to.
Join us and other inspired actioneers on this alchemical, transformational journey.
Welcome back to the Inspired Action Podcast. My name is Jay, and this is Pod 98. And today we're going to be talking about the water element. And if you're water, you have to wait. You have to wait. A little anticipation. But I'll introduce my co-host, as always, Lita Herman.
Hello, everyone. Yes, this is all about water, which is about waiting.
Anticipation.
And
today we're going to talk about what you might truly want out of life.
Yes.
It's a big topic.
Yes, we're continuing our elemental series on what does each element truly want.
And water has been patiently waiting. We put them in the last slot. And here we go. So today we're going to get going. And, we talked about it in Pod 93 when we started to ask the question of what do we truly want. And we're going through this elementally. So if you haven't listened, go back to Pod 93, give it a listen, get caught up.
Yes.
Anything else?
Yeah, no, that'll be great. And then you can come back to this episode and learn about water.
Yeah, and this is all about getting you ready as we move through to the first stages of alchemy. The first stage of alchemy, then the other stages.
Right.
So, all right. So I would say go back, listen, catch up, enjoy the anticipation, enjoy the journey.
Yes.
It doesn't matter about the destination.
Yes.
We're on the journey.
We're talking about that a lot because what we're really trying to get to is, what gives a water person a sense of fulfillment in life? A sense of completion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is probably the toughest question we've done so far because, and even this element is really tough because water is the most mysterious of all the elements. It's so varied. It can change. It could be so many things. It could be everything or it can be nothing.
Yeah. We often joke that if you think you're all 5 elements, you're probably water.
And we're usually right. Yes.
And that's because water can be a still pond, a babbling brook, a rushing river, and a tsunami.
Yes, it could also be like a stagnant pond. It could be a meandering stream. It could be frozen.
Yes.
Which I see a lot in my sessions. People kind of get stagnant or frozen.
Yeah. And those are all within a single day, potentially.
Absolutely. And it doesn't usually take much to get water back in the flow. Just a little attitude adjustment, a little perspective shift sometimes.
Yes. But the whole point is, Jay, it's so varied and it can vary that much during a day or throughout your lifetime. Some waters maintain one of those states, like you said, the frozen state for a little longer, but they might be that babbling brook for a very, very long time, or they might be varied every day, all day long.
How can we make any generalizations about water then?
At all.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I know, you can't. So instead of talking about what they want in general, we have to talk more about their true nature, which is best described as this state of stillness plus the state of movement happening at the same time. How's that work?
That sounds illogical.
Illogical. And it's because if let's say in this very moment, you're being really, really still. Well, if you're water, the anticipation starts to get activated inside. And then it's like the energy starts moving really, really fast, rapidly, almost like, a microwave cooking food gets, all those molecules start to get really active. So if you're really, really still, guess what? You're really activated on the inside. You're moving on the inside. That's the feeling that you have if you're water. But if you're doing something really active, on the outside, you're going for a run, you're playing a sport, you're doing a big presentation.
Tapping your foot.
If you're moving on the outside, then you feel a sense of calm and stillness on the inside. And so that's why waters are so great in emergencies, because they've got that ability to be really active on the outside, but calm cucumbers on the inside.
I mean, that's pretty helpful for people who are trying to understand water. At least it's something we can easily say about water. It's unpredictable.
Yes.
It can be anything at any time. But today, let's kind of like put that little stream and a path to go down. And let's talk about what does water really want? And it seems like it's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for a challenge if you're up for a challenge.
Yeah. And I think all you waters out there are going to love this podcast. But before we continue, let's just update people on what we're doing lately, Jay.
Let's go ahead. Let's do it. I'll let you do it.
Okay. Well,
I'm in my chill mode, my water mode. I'm in water chill. I'm just going with the flow today.
If you haven't heard, we have a new audiobook of our Through the Mystery Gate book, and it's available on Audible, Amazon, or iTunes. And we're also nearing, obviously, this is Pod 98. We're nearing our 100th podcast. Woo! And we're so excited about that. So if you want more information about all we're doing, all we're planning, go to inspiredactionpodcast.com and you can sign up for news about our podcast. And also, we're doing a lot with our Alchemy Learning Center. So if you haven't checked that out, it's called alchemylearningcenter.com. And .com. And the latest thing we're doing is we're starting our new apprenticeship in September for acupuncturists and energy healers.
We're half full already.
Yeah.
Or the glass is half full.
Yeah.
Or half empty.
There you go.
So we do have a couple slots left.
Yeah. So if you'd like to, this is the first time that we're going to offer an all virtual option. Yes. Because we've often done this where there's an in-person component and a virtual component, but we have people from all over the world that are joining us and they really, wanted to be a part of it. So we developed a new part of the program.
Couldn't hop on their private jets to fly out for the in-person training a lot. So we said, hey, let's try to do
the virtual. So we have that option. So you can check it out at alchemylearningcenter.com. It's called the Master Alchemy Apprenticeship Program.
Check it out. If you resonate, apply. See what happens. We'll chat you up.
Yeah. We'll talk to you personally if you apply. So, and also as per usual, please rate and review us on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you're listening to us.
It really helps.
Yes, it really does. So let's get back to water.
Boy, you are like fast water today.
Yeah, I'm fast water today.
Chill. When I go into my water, chill. Unless it's drama. So you never know with me.
Well, Jay's got some water drama.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So drama. Just a little drama queen, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so what do waters really want? You ready? Go.
For waters, the simple answer could be what they want in this very moment because they're very much in the present moment all the time. So they may want to go to a faraway place, like a trip. And so, waters love experiences. So maybe it's just a backpacking trip, a local backpacking trip or, drive.
You just said far away. Is it far away or is it local?
That's true.
Or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter.
As long as they're going backpacking.
But maybe they just want to go backpacking, or maybe they want to find a new job that gives them time off so they can go backpacking.
There you go.
Or something like that.
Maybe they get a job backpacking to then go backpacking when they're not backpacking for work.
There you go. That'd be
packing it in.
And that would probably be their dream job, actually.
Let's go back to the backpacking.
All right. So one water we used to know had this amazing job. And every year she got to take 3 months off and travel all around the world. And, honestly, that would be like a water's dream come true.
It's like a teaching job.
Yeah.
A professor.
Right. It's perfect,
all kinds
right?
Of things, yeah.
But what's nice about that is they can do the intense working for some of the time and then do the intense travel for some of the time. So remember, the key word for waters, if you've been listening to us for a while, is intensity. And waters love when they can really dive into their work, but they also love when they really can dive into the fun and the travel and the adventure because they crave the excitement and intensity.
Or they like to lay on the couch and do nothing.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
In between
But
all the intensity.
I agree. Waters crave excitement and intensity and being in the present moment. So yes. I check all those on with you. 100%.
And I knew a water also who had a really high powered job. It wasn't one of those jobs you could just go off for months and months, but still she took lots of adventure vacations throughout the year and went to like Kilimanjaro and Patagonia, all kinds of like skiing.
But did she go backpacking?
I bet she did.
Actually, I think she did.
Yeah. I know she went ice climbing. I mean, like camping, cruises, you name it.
Backpacks for sure.
Yeah. So the purpose of these wandering adventures is that through these new experiences, waters hope to gain wisdom. So there are 2 palaces associated with water of the 9 palaces. Career, which makes sense because we said how much they like to dive into work. But then there's this wisdom palace. So they want to gain wisdom by having experiences so they can become more worldly.
Yeah. And I just want to say, disclaimer, not all water is like backpacks. They'd be like, I thought I was water, but I don't even own a backpack. No, we're just joking about the backpack.
It sounds like
sometimes their cars are backpacks. They have so much stuff in them.
It sounds like, you know how you say about earth and ponchos?
You said that.
I know.
Now I'm going to have the backpack.
Now you're going to have the backpack
on my back.
It's not it's not whether you have a backpack. It's how many backpacks you have. Okay.
How many adventures. I'm just saying, if you're like shaking your head saying, I don't do a backpack, but I'm just using that as a humorous example.
Yes. And here's the thing with water. Not all waters are world travelers either.
I just said that.
I know. Well, you said the backpack.
They could be a couch surfer.
Yes. They might just want to read about adventures that others are doing. Or maybe they just like to go for local hikes or local rock climbing or something else that feels intense. Maybe they like to go water skiing,
Maybe Netflix is intense.
Yeah, maybe Netflix is intense.
They have a lot of intense shows.
Right. So every water is going to do it differently. So that's why these generalizations are very difficult. So if we ask a water what they really want, there might be something related to their career. It might be something related to their love of learning, which is their wisdom palace. But if we press them a bit more and ask them what would really give them a sense of fulfillment in life, that's more difficult for them to answer.
Yeah, I feel like I have to tap into what they're really excited about. And sometimes with their career, they get bored or they're just in it because they're in it and they're not really like challenged. So they stay too long. We've talked about this in the past. Sometimes they love their job and that's a great thing. But if they don't, then it can start to go down of like other parts of their life get kind of boring as well.
And some of them have traveled a lot and maybe they don't, maybe they just want to stick around at home. They've done their bucket list and maybe that's not really fulfilling them anymore. So most waters, it's not about the physical things they're doing. What they're seeking truly is a state of being that we're trying to describe here.
In the moment, in the actual flow.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot.
So, and it's true for every element, because, we've been doing this series about what does each element want. And, what we're trying to get at with every element is a state of being that they really want. Woods may think they want recognition of their greatness, but what they really want is a state of being where they are completely unimpeded to be able to do great things.
I do think that is what every element seeks, just a different flavor for each one.
Yeah, because if you look at fire, it's a different flavor. Fires may think that they want to be loved, but essentially what they want is a state of love, regardless of who is or isn't loving them in that moment.
Who doesn't love them? Everybody loves the fire people.
That's true. And then if you go to Earths want to be heard and understood by others, but really what they want is to be on a never-ending quest for deeper understanding of themselves and the universe around them.
Yeah.
How's that?
I hear you.
Okay. And so metal, because I don't want to leave anyone out, metal thinks that, they want permission to be free to wander and roam, but what they really want is to be in a state of connection with all that is. Like a thread woven into a complex tapestry so that they can feel like this trust that they're so connected that gives them a feeling of freedom.
Yeah. So I think what you're trying to say here is that each element is looking outside of themselves for what they want. And then what they want is already inside of them.
Yeah.
Right?
If they stop looking outside and start looking
so they
inside.
Already have what they want and they need. They just don't realize it.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so that's it. Podcast over. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
So you already got what you need. Just figure it out. That's a big universal kind of theme, I think, that we already know that we have to look inside.
Yes. Yes, but let's go to water because again, this is the most elusive one. So we're going to have
They're
to like
slippery,
dive in.
right?
They're slippery when wet. so yeah, I'm thinking slip and slide in the summertime.
That's it.
That's water.
Slip and slide water.
So they're really on this quest for intensity. That's true. But what is intensity really about? Why is there this need to experience intense things?
And actually, if you think about the slip and slide, that is a great water
It is.
toy activity. It just lays there on the ground. It's like nothing, piece of plastic. You water and then you stand there and then you go, let's go. And you run and shoo. Right?
And it's silly.
If you don't end up in the emergency room, you do it again.
Yes, exactly. Oh.
And again, and again. And then eventually you'll end up in the emergency room. But hopefully not.
Actually, a lot of them do end up in the emergency room quite often, all different periods of their lifetimes.
The slip and slide calf.
Sometimes you can diagnose waters by how many injuries they've had in
that would be
their
wood too,
adventures. Yes.
Wood and water.
So it's because, intensity makes them feel alive and it helps them come into their physical bodies. And being a spirit, having an experience on this earthly plane is really what water is living for. It's their reason for being. And because waters are all about the wisdom palace, what they're trying to do is getting the deeper knowing of what's underneath the fabric of existence. So they have to fully experience everything life has to offer in their bodies. Again, like they're going to slip and slide and maybe end up in the emergency room, but who cares? They're having the experience.
Care.
Yeah.
Yes. They don't even think about it.
And that's why humans come into existence in general, to experience the limited physical body within the unlimited universe.
Right. And, we were talking about the waters in the past, how they're like the safety monitors of the elemental world. So they are kind of paying attention.
Yes, because, each water has a different idea of what's safe to do.
Right.
But they like to push the edge of that no matter who they are. So they have completely different ideas of what's safe. Some will never, ever ride a roller coaster. Others love roller coasters.
Ride it till they puke.
Yeah.
Or they'll bungee jump, but with really secure knots on their ankle.
And some of them are, like you said, going to be on the couch reading about it. But inherently,
I'm not sure anyone reads anymore.
That's true.
listening to a book or watching a video.
Yes.
But they can listen to a book like through the Mystery Gate.
Yes.
Now available on Amazon, iTunes, and Google. Just saying.
Shameless ad.
If you need to listen to something, that book would be very nice for the couch.
Way to throw that plug in there, Jay.
I just slipped it right.
Slipped and slided it right in.
I'm just saying they like to listen. All my water friends are audio book nuts.
Buffs. They're nuts.
They're nuts.
Yeah, they love them.
So, and then I'm like, they're like, I just read a book. And I'm like, really? You read a book? And they're like, well, I listened to a book. So that the listening is the new reading. So yes. I'm not sure anyone reads anymore.
Yes.
But if they did, Through the Mystery Gate is on Amazon.
It's actually available in paper if you would like.
Yeah.
Okay.
But please recycle if you're done with it.
Yes. And give it to a friend.
Yes.
All right. So,
or not.
So waters inherently know that they're here to experience the limited, physical body within the unlimited universe. I love that phrase, by the way.
That's great.
And so they're literally driven to make the best of this lifetime. They're more than any element aware of time. They are acutely aware of it because they're trying to figure out constantly, is it time to move or not move?
Right. And I feel like when they lose their trust, with a capital T, as we like to say, that's when they don't move or they question it or second guess. And then that could be like the slippery slope into another element.
It's like that song by The Clash. I think it's time for a song, Jay.
You're on this one. I can't sing The Clash.
Should I stay or should I go now?
That's up to you.
If I go, there will be trouble.
I'll have to do this podcast alone.
And if I stay, there will be double.
Because we could keep going together on this. Yes.
So you gotta let me know.
I think you should stay.
Okay.
Please don't go.
Please don't go. All right.
That was good, Leah.
That was pretty good. You got to sing into that off tone if it's The Clash. Anyway, all right.
Because then we will clash. That's probably how they got the name for that band.
Yeah. Their voices clashed, right?
I'm like, hey,
Okay.
that's good. Let's give it a try. They were probably water too.
Yes, they probably were.
They probably were.
All
Okay,
right.
see, I'm all over the place today because I'm in water mode.
So what does this all really mean? What do waters really want? And if we want to sum it up as, as for waters, it's about being in the state of true Wu Wei, the state of knowing that every next footstep they take is the right next footstep. And that's the trust with a capital T, Jay. That's what waters need to feel to get into that state of Wu Wei. Trust is when you just know at every turn that the next step is the right step.
And Lita, the good thing about it is we all have water in us.
Yeah.
We can all tap into this at any time if we just work on it a little bit and believe.
Yeah.
So trust and believe. I like when I'm talking about water. So we all have this in us.
Yes.
Whether you have it anywhere.
Right. And actually, the alchemists of ancient times, they believed that the water element was essential to be an alchemist. So if you're not water and you're listening to this podcast, take the cue from the waters.
Yeah, we are all trying to be water.
We
We're
all
water-like.
Yes, we all need to get into that flow, no matter what element we are. We all need to begin to trust that each footstep is the right footstep. And ideally, what waters are trying to get, what they really, really want, even deeper than what we've just said, is peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because if they have the trust and they just know the next footstep's the right footstep, their minds are at rest.
So how can you go with the word peace, which I love because I think it's completely good. And people understand it when you're talking about still water, like the little raindrop stopping and the little, what are those things called when you drop it and they fall out?
Raindrops?
No. No, when you drop a raindrop and then it kind of goes up. Boy, I'm like brain cramping here.
Like
riffles.
Riffles.
So you see the Hallmark picture, right? Or the Nat Geo picture of the beautiful still water with the
rippling.
Yes, and the sun setting. But how do you find peace if you're a rushing river?
That's a great question. Can you be a river rushing from the mountain to the ocean and still know you can never take a wrong move and feel the peace of mind of that knowing? Yes, you can, because that's water. It can just be moving no matter what pace it is. And even if it's taking a little detour over to the right, it's because downstream, you're going to utilize those experiences from that detour.
And the resources that you may gain from that little detour.
And so even something that looks like a detour becomes part of your destiny. Later, think of all the things in your lifetime where you go back and you thought you were on a detour and it seemed like a waste of time. But later you're like, oh my God, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to use that information, that wisdom now in this moment. Any of us can do that.
Yeah, so wisdom is gained by doing. Like you gotta do it. Yeah.
So there can't possibly be a wrong turn. Every turn that river takes is the right move. And so all that matters really for waters and for all of us, again, is that we have the will to go on. So often, we say that waters just want to feel like their existence will matter, that somehow what they did was important in some way, and that somehow their presence, it's like they're the cog in the wheel. They're just another part of the universe that's essential.
Yeah. And
that it matters.
They need to matter to themselves.
Yes.
Being in tune with their destiny, that every moment that they can feel that flow, be in the Wu Wei. They can have their ambition of being headed somewhere or going some direction. And that's important.
Yes.
Right? That's important.
And every step along the way just increases the importance of everything they will do in the future.
Even if they don't know where that future is.
Right. And at the end, when they reach that ocean, and meld back into all that is and leave this physical existence, they will feel satisfied that it was a life well lived and that they were not thwarted from their mission, which is to move.
Yeah.
And then it's just about the flow.
Yeah, it is about the flow, isn't it? The Wu Wei, being in that flow of life.
Yeah. And what they truly want is to just feel that they've mastered that art of being in that flow through their wisdom and their knowing.
Even if that mastering is the mastering of the slip and slide.
Yeah, there you go. Right? They could, yes.
Or mastering that rock wall up at the local rock gym.
Yes.
Or that backpack.
Yes.
The perfect hike.
And then just to say a little add on to this, some waters then choose to matter even more by sharing their wisdom with others. Because that sense of accomplishment of getting to this intense, like wonderful wisdom, these gems of wisdom, it increases their feeling of mattering inside themselves by sharing it with others.
I think that there's many teachers that are water or first or second.
Yes.
Probably a lot of earth, water, earth.
Yes.
Even fire, like a lot of, So they love to share because then they love to see other people do and gain wisdom.
Yes.
So they like to share their wisdom, share their experiences so others can. And see, that truly matters.
Yes. And that's their gift to the world. And, they may choose to teach what they've learned or just continue flowing and being in the right place at the right moment. And that's why they matter.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect place to end because this is the right place to go out and get some sunshine.
Yeah, there
I'm going to
go
set up to slip and slide.
All right.
And you go put on a backpack.
Okay.
And we're out. So thank you for listening, everyone, and have a great day and just be in the flow.
Bye. Bye.
You've been listening to the Inspired Action Podcast, and you've reached the end. Woohoo! Why not celebrate a little bit and click that subscribe button right there. We love having you with us on this journey, and we want it to continue.
You can also rate and review this podcast. And if you have already, thank you so much. We read all reviews, and your reviews help other people find this podcast as well. You can also be a part of this podcast yourself by submitting a voice recording message and emailing it to us at lita@inspiredactionpodcast.com or jay@inspiredactionpodcast.com.
And if you want, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Instagram.
Join us next week for another Inspired Action conversation. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, and remember to hug the dog.